Krisis iklim sudah di depan mata, mengancam kehidupan, lingkungan, dan perekonomian kita semua. Indonesia menunjukkan komitmennya terhadap penanggulangan iklim melalui ratifikasi Paris Agreement dalam Undang-Undang Nomor 16 Tahun 2016 dan upaya aktif menurunkan emisi karbon sebagai bagian dari agenda keberlanjutan nasional dan global. Sebagai presidensi G20 pada tahun 2022, Indonesia juga mendorong G20 Bali Declaration yang mendukung finalisasi ISSB Standards untuk pelaporan keberlanjutan global. Standar ini telah didukung oleh IOSCO, G20, ACMF, dan organisasi internasional lainnya, serta 26 negara telah berkomitmen untuk menerapkannya. Komitmen terhadap isu keberlanjutan ini membutuhkan pendanaan besar dari investor yang semakin menuntut transparansi. Mengintegrasikan informasi keberlanjutan dan laporan keuangan kini menjadi kebutuhan utama bagi pasar modal, pendanaan internasional, dan perdagangan global. Selama lebih dari 50 tahun, IAI telah menjadi pemimpin dalam penyusunan standar akuntansi di Indonesia. Sejak 2020, IAI mengambil langkah proaktif dalam membangun infrastruktur pelaporan keberlanjutan melalui pembentukan Task Force Comprehensive Corporate Reporting yang diikuti dengan pembentukan Dewan Pemantau Standar Keberlanjutan dan Dewan Standar Keberlanjutan untuk memastikan tata kelola yang kuat. Saat ini, IAI sedang menyiapkan standar pengungkapan keberlanjutan yang merujuk pada ISSB Standards, melengkapi laporan keuangan dan menjawab kebutuhan pengungkapan keberlanjutan yang semakin mendesak. Penerapan standar pengungkapan keberlanjutan tidak dapat hanya sebatas penyusunan standar. Namun, penerapan standar tersebut memerlukan ekosistem laporan keberlanjutan yang memadai. Strategi penerapan standar pengungkapan keberlanjutan yang terarah dan komprehensif sangat penting karena standar tersebut merupakan inisiatif baru di Indonesia. Dalam peta jalan ini, IAI memuat strategi penerapan standar pengungkapan keberlanjutan sebagai berikut. 1. Tingkat kesesuaian standar. Hal ini untuk memastikan ketentuan standar sesuai dengan tingkat kesiapan perusahaan dan praktik laporan keberlanjutan. Kedua, tanggal efektif standar. Hal ini untuk memastikan perusahaan memiliki waktu yang cukup untuk menerapkan standar. Usulan aktivitas penguatan ekosistem laporan keberlanjutan di Indonesia diantaranya adalah 1. Regulasi penggunaan standar pengungkapan keberlanjutan. 2. Assurance laporan keberlanjutan. 3. Infrastruktur pendukung terkait. 4. Pengembangan kompetensi. Dan 5. Penyusunan standar. Peta jalan standar pengungkapan keberlanjutan menandai langkah awal menuju ekosistem pelaporan keberlanjutan yang kuat. Peta jalan ini akan memandu bisnis, regulator, dan pemangku kepentingan untuk mencapai pengungkapan keberlanjutan berkualitas tinggi yang selaras secara global.
Ikatan Akuntan Indonesia, berdiri pada 23 Desember 1957. Akuntan muda tanah air mengambil prakarsa pendirian IAI, dipimpin oleh Profesor Sumarjo Citro Sidoyo. IAI didirikan untuk membimbing dan mempertinggi mutu pendidikan akuntansi dan mempertinggi mutu pekerjaan akuntan. Sejak itu, IAI berkembang menjadi organisasi profesi akuntan yang turut mewarnai sejarah perekonomian Indonesia. Inisiasi penting selanjutnya adalah ketika IAI mengambil tanggung jawab menjadi standar setter untuk mendukung pasar modal dan dunia investasi Indonesia. IAI menerbitkan prinsip akuntansi Indonesia (PAI) dan norma pemeriksaan akuntan (NPA). PAI nantinya berkembang menjadi standar akuntansi keuangan (SAK). IAI terus tumbuh menjadi pengawal transparansi dan akuntabilitas perekonomian Indonesia. Dalam dinamika global, IAI menjadi pendiri dan anggota IFAC, pendiri dan anggota ASEAN Federation of Accountant (AFA), serta Associate Member Chartered Accountant Worldwide (CAW). Di masa kini, tidak bisa dibantahkan, IAI berperan di hampir semua sektor perekonomian. DPN periode 2022-2026 akan meneruskan estafet kepemimpinan profesi menuju IAI bersatu bersama menciptakan peluang meraih kesuksesan. Melalui rencana strategis IAI periode 2022-2026, IAI tumbuh, kuat, dan berkelanjutan. Rencana strategis IAI terdiri dari 4 pilar. Pilar 1, memperkuat transformasi profesi akuntansi melalui peningkatan kuantitas dan kualitas akuntan Indonesia yang memiliki kompetensi, kredibilitas, serta mematuhi regulasi, kode etik, dan standar profesi. Pilar 2, meningkatkan kepercayaan publik kepada profesi akuntansi sebagai pemimpin dalam pengembangan ekosistem keuangan dan keberlanjutan. Pilar 3, memperkuat perlindungan hukum dan praktik keprofesian akuntan di berbagai sektor di era keberlanjutan. Pilar 4, meningkatkan tata kelola organisasi IAI dan memperluas kerjasama dengan pemangku kepentingan profesi akuntansi. IAI siap mengawal perekonomian Indonesia menuju Sustainable Development Goals. IAI tumbuh, kuat, dan berkelanjutan.
Krisis iklim sudah di depan mata, mengancam kehidupan, lingkungan, dan perekonomian kita semua. Indonesia menunjukkan komitmennya terhadap penanggulangan iklim melalui ratifikasi Paris Agreement dalam Undang-Undang Nomor 16 Tahun 2016 dan upaya aktif menurunkan emisi karbon sebagai bagian dari agenda keberlanjutan nasional dan global. Sebagai presidensi G20 pada tahun 2022, Indonesia juga mendorong G20 Bali Declaration yang mendukung finalisasi ISSB Standards untuk pelaporan keberlanjutan global. Standar ini telah didukung oleh IOSCO, G20, ACMF, dan organisasi internasional lainnya, serta 26 negara telah berkomitmen untuk menerapkannya. Komitmen terhadap isu keberlanjutan ini membutuhkan pendanaan besar dari investor yang semakin menuntut transparansi. Mengintegrasikan informasi keberlanjutan dan laporan keuangan kini menjadi kebutuhan utama bagi pasar modal, pendanaan internasional, dan perdagangan global. Selama lebih dari 50 tahun, IAI telah menjadi pemimpin dalam penyusunan standar akuntansi di Indonesia. Sejak 2020, IAI mengambil langkah proaktif dalam membangun infrastruktur pelaporan keberlanjutan melalui pembentukan Task Force Comprehensive Corporate Reporting yang diikuti dengan pembentukan Dewan Pemantau Standar Keberlanjutan dan Dewan Standar Keberlanjutan untuk memastikan tata kelola yang kuat. Saat ini, IAI sedang menyiapkan standar pengungkapan keberlanjutan yang merujuk pada ISSB Standards, melengkapi laporan keuangan dan menjawab kebutuhan pengungkapan keberlanjutan yang semakin mendesak. Penerapan standar pengungkapan keberlanjutan tidak dapat hanya sebatas penyusunan standar. Namun, penerapan standar tersebut memerlukan ekosistem laporan keberlanjutan yang memadai. Strategi penerapan standar pengungkapan keberlanjutan yang terarah dan komprehensif sangat penting karena standar tersebut merupakan inisiatif baru di Indonesia. Dalam peta jalan ini, IAI memuat strategi penerapan standar pengungkapan keberlanjutan sebagai berikut. 1. Tingkat kesesuaian standar. Hal ini untuk memastikan ketentuan standar sesuai dengan tingkat kesiapan perusahaan dan praktik laporan keberlanjutan. Kedua, tanggal efektif standar. Hal ini untuk memastikan perusahaan memiliki waktu yang cukup untuk menerapkan standar. Usulan aktivitas penguatan ekosistem laporan keberlanjutan di Indonesia diantaranya adalah 1. Regulasi penggunaan standar pengungkapan keberlanjutan. And International Federation of Accountants or IFAC, welcome to IAI and IFAC Focus Group Discussion, Future of Finance and Accounting Profession in Turbulence Era. To open our discussion today, let us sing the national anthem, Indonesia Raya, which will be continued by Mars IAI. Ladies and gentlemen, please raise.
mimpimu, satukanlah dalam asamu. Tunjukkan baktimu, kuatkan imanmu, raihlah prestasimu. Satukan tujuan, siapkan masa depan, jaga akuntabilitas. IAI mengabdi, bersatu dan berbakti, untuk ibu pertiwi. Selalu berkarya dan jaga integritas, Ikatan Akuntan Indonesia. Langkahmu, gerakmu, hadirkan semangatmu, hatimu dan mimpimu, satukanlah dalam asamu. Tunjukkan baktimu, kuatkan imanmu, raihlah prestasimu. Satukan tujuan, siapkan masa depan, jaga akuntabilitas. IAI mengabdi, bersatu dan berbakti, untuk ibu pertiwi. Selalu berkarya dan jaga integritas, Ikatan Akuntan Indonesia. Ikatan Akuntan Indonesia.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may return to your seat. Ladies and gentlemen, today we will have a high-level discussion with key stakeholders of the accountancy profession in Indonesia on strategic priorities and trends shaping the global and national accountancy profession. To open our discussion today, we would like to invite IAI President Dr. Arden Adi Perdana to deliver his welcome address.
Honorable Mizan Buku, IFAC President, Professor Siddhartha Utama, IFAC Board Member, who is also IAI National Council Member, Pak Jumadi, Technical Advisor for the board, and also IAI National Council Member, IAI Council Member who also present in this room right now, Pak Arif, Pak Denny, Ibu Vivi, Pak Nyoman, and Ibu Tanya. I use the Indonesian Ibu. Ibu is for Mrs. Ibu Elizarni and all the directors of IAI, participant from regulator, audit, Supreme Audit Board of Indonesia, Pak Yudi, Bank Indonesia, Center for Financial Profession Supervisory from Ministry of Finance, Finance Services Authority, and other regulator, PAOs, big four accounting firms, standard setters, IAI corporate partners, IAI affiliated campus, and other key stakeholder of IAI, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon and welcome. It is a great honor to welcome to all of you to today's focus group discussion held at Geraha Akuntan, the official home of Ikatan Akuntan Indonesia. Geraha Akuntan is not only a national landmark for accounting profession in Indonesia, but also hold regional significance as it has served as the permanent secretariat of ASEAN Federation of Accountants (AFA) since 2011. I'm also pleased to share with you that the IAI president will assume the presidency of the AFA starting next year, a responsibility we are committed to carrying out with the highest level of professionalism and regional collaboration. Today's FGD is held under the theme, The Future of Finance and Accounting Profession in the Turbulence Era. As we navigate a world increasingly marked by geopolitical uncertainty, economic shift, and rapid technological change, this theme is more than relevant. It is urgent. Through this FGD, we aim to achieve three key objectives. First, to discuss the strategic priorities and trends that are shaping both the global and national accountancy profession. Second, to explore the alignment between IFAC's strategic direction and Indonesia regulatory and professional landscape. And the third, to identify collaborative action across sectors to address shared challenges in the talent development, digital transformation, and sustainability readiness. We are confident that today's dialogue will not only generate valuable insight, but also concrete step forward. The expected outcomes from this discussion are a shared understanding of IFAC's current strategic priorities and how they relate to Indonesian context, and a set of collaborative action points, particularly in the areas of joint capacity building, enhancement of professional standards, and development of digital competency framework. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, IAI is proud to be one of the IFAC founding members since its establishment in Berlin at World Congress of Accountants in 1977. Our commitment to IFAC mission is as strong today as it was nearly 5 decades ago. Our strategic plan is aligned with IFAC direction and toolkits, reinforcing our resolve to elevate the profession quality, relevance, and global readiness. Mr. President, your visit to Indonesia this week is an important milestone. We are honored to accompany you through several key moments, delivering keynote speech at IDX tomorrow, participating in a live interview on the IDX channel, and traveling to Yogyakarta, where you will speak at the seminar and officially launch the 9th Aspiring Professional Accounting Festival, IAI-IFAC Fest, at Universitas Gadjah Mada. We hope this visit will deepen the partnership between IFAC and Indonesia and highlight our shared commitment to profession that not only respond to change but shape it. To all participants, thank you. All these participants representing regulators, policymakers, academia, business, PAOs, and standard setters. Thank you again for joining us today. Your perspectives are essential as we chart the course forward. Let us use this forum to listen, to challenge assumption, and to craft a roadmap for a profession that not only survives, but thrives in turbulent times. Thank you.
Let's give big round of applause for IAI President. Ladies and gentlemen, we're pleased to welcome IFAC President, Mr. Jean Bucco at Graha Akuntan to share the latest update in the accountancy profession, especially on IFAC strategic priorities regarding the development of the accounting profession and its relevance to Indonesia. Now, I would like to invite IFAC President, Mr. Bucco, to deliver the remarks.
President Adi Perdana, honorable members of the IAI Council, distinguished guests and colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. So my name is Jean Bucco. I'm the president of IFAC, the International Federation of Accountants. It is my first visit to Indonesia, so I'm very honored to be with you today in this very important country in the world. It is a great pleasure to join you for our focused discussion about, as you mentioned, some of the big issues shaping the accountancy profession. And it is true, you mentioned it, President, that there are things to think about and talk about together. But first, let me briefly introduce IFAC. We are the global organization of the accountancy profession, representing 187 member organizations in 142 jurisdictions. The essence of the value we bring to our members, and we worked on that 1 year ago, because it seemed to us very important to remind everyone, every member, what it is all about, and to be closely connected in our mutual objectives. So we have, in this member value proposition, we have 3 parts: connection and unity, integrity and global recognition, and finally, a collective voice and commitment to the public interest. I have to thank again IAI for inviting me here and hosting us today, including President and, as I said, National Council member, and especially Professor Siddhartha Uttama, who also serves with me as board member of IFAC. So the IAI, and you reminded us, President, is a founding member of IFAC. Nearly 70 years it has been a pillar of Indonesia economy. Thank you for your partnership. And I'd like to offer just a few high-level comments as we get started for this afternoon. It is true that the context of our discussion in the turbulent era we are living in needs to shape many overlapping challenges. First, global trading powers are engaging in more direct and disruptive competition, which is generating friction throughout the global trading system, and we can see that almost every day at the moment. Geopolitical instability is making investment riskier and less attractive, and could lead to further disruptions to economic activity. Fourth, some countries are worried about the competitiveness of domestic industry and are rethinking their approaches to regulation. And we will come back to that in terms when we will talk about sustainability, for instance. And finally, climate change poses physical risks while making many other challenges even harder. And of course, this is not a complete list. These are just items we have thought about. In turbulent times, the accountancy profession remains united by high standards for professional and ethical behavior. and by our shared purpose of advancing the public interest. This is really critical, and this is what differentiates us from any other profession. We are a valuable source of stability for our organizations and our stakeholders. Right now, however, we need to plan carefully and act carefully to maintain our relevance. One important area is the sustainability transformation. Our profession needs to build capacity for sustainability-related work. Our education and training need to evolve in response. So at IFAC, we recently revised the international education standards to embed sustainability into the core skills of the next generation. We also connect our member organizations to resources and best practices from across our network so that our member organizations can build sustainability into the continuing professional development they offer their own individual members. Last year, just a personal example, I qualified with our regulator in France as a green auditor. That's the translation of what we had in French. After 90 years of training last year for me, so I am proof that accountants at all stages of their career are evolving, finding new opportunities to apply our skills and more important, our passion to sustainability. Another important area is digitalization. I do not want to underestimate the anxiety in our profession that AI could undermine our relevance. This is coming when we meet with our colleagues. It comes very often. But let me emphasize that overall, embracing digitalization will free us to pursue opportunities in higher value areas, such as advisory services, by automating lower value tasks. It will enable us to increase our relevance to our clients and our organizations. AI and automation won't replace us, but they will change how we work. A few areas stand out for attention. We need to improve our digital competencies and embrace innovation and a continuous learning mindset. We also have this in sustainability. I mentioned it. Continuous learning mindset for all of us. Also, digital literacy is crucial, though we do not need to become data scientists. And finally, we should always consider that our new ethical responsibilities are in new technological settings. And let me add that by stepping into greater roles with sustainability and digital technology, we will make a stronger case to the next generation that we are the right profession for them. That's something we are struggling with in many countries, and we know it. And I'm sure we'll return to this topic at some point today. So thank you now again, everyone. And we will all enjoy, I hope, the day's discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Buko. Ladies and gentlemen, our group discussion today is not only present Mr. Buko as IFAC President, but also Professor Siddhartha Utama, IFAC Board Member, who also IAI Council Member, and the discussion will be led by Bapak Jumadi, Technical Advisor for IFAC Board Member, who also IAI Council Member. Before we hand over the session to Bapak Jumadi, let me read you a brief profile of Mr. Jean Buko and Professor Siddhartha Utama. Jean Buko became IFAC President in November 2024. Prior to his appointment, Mr. Jean Boucaud joined IFAC board in November 2020, nominated by Compagnie Nationale des Commissaires aux Comptes and Conseil Supérieur de Ordre des Experts Comptables. He also served as IFAC Deputy President from November 2022 until November 2024. Mr. Boucaud was the President of CNCC from February 27 to October 2020. From December 2012 to December 2014, he was Vice Chairman of the Compagnie Régionale des Commissaires aux Comptes de Versailles and member of CNCC. Next one is Professor Siddhartha Utama. Professor Siddhartha Utama joined IFAC board in November 2022, nominated by Institute of Indonesia Chartered Accountant. He is also a professor of accounting at Universitas Indonesia. Professor Utama served as member of IAI National Council. He also the chair of OJK Supervisory Board. He served as an independent commissioner, chair, and member of audit committee in number of listed company. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I will hand over the session to Mr. Jumadi.
Thank you, Monica. A very good afternoon to all of you, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am actually very thrilled, to get the opportunity to moderate this session. Having our very prominent guest, a very important person in our profession, and also Professor Tata, whom I think everybody knows already, So I'd like to start by telling you what happened this morning, right? So knowing that I'm going to be moderating this session this afternoon, I asked my 15-year-old son in a car, right? Because I usually every morning I drive to office and I will drop him off to his school. So I told him, I don't have any factory, I don't have any company that I can inherit to you, right? So what do you want to be when you grow up? Have you ever thought about, having a profession like your dad, like me, I mean? So he said, but first of all, I asked him, do you know what I do? By the way, right? I've been feeding you all this time, right? You've got to know what I do to earn living, right? He said, yeah, you're an auditor, right? Yes, I am. So you know what I do? You audit financial statements. Oh, good, right? Okay, good, I say. So why don't you want to be an auditor? No, Dad. What do you want to do? I want to do material engineering. Oh, what's that, right? And I said, why? Why don't you want to become an auditor? He said to me, it's because, you look at the numbers, right? All the time, you look at the numbers, you crunch the numbers, right? And that's what you do, right? So that's not something that I actually, am keen to do, right? So from that kind of conversation, I was asking myself, right? Is this going to be a profession that, our youngsters are going to be aspiring in the future, right? I can also tell you some of the experience that I have in my, before that, I'm a partner also in one of the big four, right? And I can see a lot of my colleagues here from other big four. Every year, we always recruit many young graduates. All this time, it's not very difficult to actually get many applications coming in and then select from there. But, for the last 2 years, the number of applicants have dropped, I think, to just about 35% of what we usually get. So it's quite staggering. I don't know about other firms here, but I think pretty much going to be the same, right? Because I also speak to my colleagues in other big four. So it was astonishing. And I think that is actually related to what we are going to be talking about as our first theme, right? Which is the attractiveness of the profession. Now, given at the background of what Mr. Buko has been explaining about the turbulence era, so I'm not going to be repeating about this turbulence era, right? But I want to talk about, the attractiveness. Is this profession at the brink of being extinct or not? Right? So, before actually I start the first question, I would like to ask Mr. Buko, what has actually inspired him to pursue the career in the accounting, right? Because I know Mr. Buko has been a partner in in EY for 40 years, yeah. And when he was a partner, I was just a second year student in the university. So, that's my first question to you, Mr. Buko, if you could please, respond to that. Thank you.
Yes, you are right to remember that, to remind everyone that I started 45 years ago. So, which is, but and when I started at that time, I joined another firm which had some problems afterwards. I was a partner with Arthur Anderson. So, but I joined a firm not knowing what I would do if I would stay for more than 2 to 3 years, learning what I wanted to learn. How to crunch the numbers, but knowing also that I would, during those first years, I would see many types of industries, many types of different clients, and then it would give me the opportunity to maybe choose something else. And 45 years after, well, I can say I stayed. I am a good example. And I stayed because every year, it was for me a new year. It was something new coming, either because I was I was an auditor mainly, but either because I was entering with new audits, new types of industries, new difficulties to address. And then after more and more, I also found out so many things to do with my hat of the auditor. And especially, and we'll come back afterwards to sustainability, but I started to run a small, very small team at that time at the end of the 90s, so a long time ago, on sustainability. And we had recruited engineers, so that was also very new. And so I've never had the time to say, what am I doing here? No, really, and the more I have been through those years, this is it. So I am always explaining that the young generations, if I still have to try to recruit, which is no longer the case, but if I talk to some, or my nephews or my the friends of colleagues, or sons or daughters of colleagues, I always say, try and you will see. You may not decide to stay forever, but at least start the first 5, 6, 7 years, and then you will be different.
Wow, very inspiring, right? Guys, have a applause for Mr. Buko. So maybe I will ask Mr. Buko to talk to my son someday. Okay, so let me now pivot to I think we agree. I don't know whether any of you have read, many publications about the decline in the interest in this profession, right? You can actually see a lot of articles written about it, right? So assuming everybody agrees with that trend, right? I would start my question to Mr. Buko about what IFAC think is the root cause for that decline, right? Unless any of you actually does not agree with that statement, right? You can raise your hand now. But if you don't, then I think, you partially agree. Partially agree is good. That means you agree 50%, right? That's good enough. So if I could request Mr. Buko to explain to us, what does IFAC think is the main root cause for this decline? Mr. Buko, please.
Yes, I would echo what because in some countries, and this is also something which is very interesting to observe, in some countries, it's not what we can perceive in other countries. So, but this will be covered probably a bit later. So yes, nevertheless, you're right. This is something which we have to consider and observe and try to understand. So that's because we cannot say, oh, it will come back. It was COVID or pandemic, or it was something else. No, it's something more profound. So yes, it is an important topic, and in some areas, for some PAOs, it is really almost frightening. So we cannot just say, oh, do whatever you wish, and we, as IFAC, we ignore it because this is not what we are here for. No, this is a true matter which we consider, and we have tried to do that for several years now, trying to understand, but and we are still listening and learning. So it's we cannot. I'm not coming to you with oh, this is the formula, the magic formula, and I will have spent enough time with you so that you have the magic formula. No, this is not the case. Let's say that what we think at IFAC is, and we are not alone, of course, because IFAC is the combination of all board colleagues from all parts of the world, from all types of entities, and also not only practitioners, but also academics, and also publics, and also professionals in accounting, professional accountants in business. So I'm not talking about only one item, which we are not coming all from the same origin, but we believe that there is something which we should think about and observe and tell us ourselves, well, maybe that's right. It is, are we really taking ownership of our brand? Are we really being proud of what we do? Are we really explaining well what we do? And this is so something which at IFAC we want to work upon. We have not finalized it because we would like not other people talking about us, but us talking about what we do and what we are proud of doing and what we bring. And we feel that, oh, easy, we do that. Not that easy, and not always well done, I would say. So this is a first thing we try to work upon, and we observe that yes, we may need something for that. And when doing this assessment, we should have in mind those good things which are that we lead businesses, that we create sustainable value, that we advise medium-sized, small-sized, large clients, and that for them we give some level of assurance. And I'm not talking about audit assurance. I'm talking about level of assurance in what we do for them and when we talk for them. And then we can also have colleagues working for governments, and so bringing also some value for that. And we really need to tell that story as best as we can. And we are working on it at the moment for the benefit, we hope, of most of our PAOs or all our PAOs. Some of them may say, oh, we have already done that, but we may also give some ideas which we have shared with other PAOs. So we hope that this will come to a situation where we'll better talk about our brand, about what we do, and this is very key. And we are at a in a period where we could also find that we are lucky, because I was talking about sustainability. We can also talk about digital transformation. We are in a world where we can attract also young generations, but what we are ourselves engaging in, like sustainability, and we'll talk again about sustainability. And this can be also viewed as a source of sense of new role and large, more important role, different role, which the young generations do not expect from us, because crunching numbers, that is what they have in mind. And this word of crunching numbers, I repeat it because I was in Singapore this past 3 days, and they gave me they have T-shirts. I'm not. I should remember, but talking about crunching numbers, I am a crunching numbers. You put that in your at your back and in the street, but it helped them to attract new young people, saying, "Well, tell me exactly what you do." So okay, that's why I repeat this, because I had this T-shirt to wear in a casual evening on Tuesday. So I had the crunch number in my back, and yes, once we were sure that we have things to say and to do in those new environments, sustainability, digital data, we should facilitate education programs by creating the curricula which are adapted. We should revise our curricula, which we started on sustainability. We'll talk about it later. And so that we can aspire new coming accountants so that they feel that their skills make sense in our society. And it's probably more difficult from the beginning to tell them that skills of regarding usual accounting are for society. When we talk about public interest, it seems to be very far away from their own concern. It takes more time to be convinced that we have this role, and that this role is important for the economy, for the society, for the citizens. When you say, we are doing also something for sustainability, then you have something which comes quicker to their mind. So this is also something we may use. And another factor which we should not ignore, because it is something we observe when we try on this question of attractivity and retention, because it's not only attractivity, it's also retention. It's about, and I can talk easily about myself, about the way we work, and we talk a lot about the load of our work, the fact that our kids say you come back late in the evening, and so on and so on, and this question of well-being, this came definitely after the pandemic. It came very high in the way the young generations felt when they were back to normal, and it was difficult to go back to normal, if you remember, and it's still not always the case. But in terms of the number of hours, the presence, and so on. So we come from a different system. I come, and some of you, I will not say most of you, but some of you are also in this concept of how the balance between work and personal life. So well-being is something we have to consider, and I know many practitioners are considering that, and I know that The big fours are doing that, but smaller practitioners are also doing that. But it needs time, and it needs effort, and it needs also to be convincing. This is not something we put on the table to attract you. No, this is true. This is perceived as a new way of working. So these are some items I would put on the table, so that we have a new normal, a new way of working. I'm not saying we have the recipe in hand, but we are at the moment working with all the largest firms, not only the big four. We are working with. We have a group of work on this matter, which is the well-being, and so that we can then share with other practitioners through our PAOs.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Wilco. So well-being, sense of purpose and skills development, I think those are the things that we could actually talk to our younger generation. Now, having said that, right, I also agree and also observe that younger generations may have different expectations compared to older generation like me. Yeah, I have to point to myself, older generation. Yeah. So I would like to pivot to the audience here. This is an FGD, right? So I would hope that we all can speak our mind and discuss about the issues on hand. Yeah. So I would like to hear from the audience on how do they actually manage the expectation of the younger generation. Yeah, I understand, in regulators in Pak Yudi's department, for example, and also BPKPs, usually you would hire perhaps 1,000 people every year, right? And they are all young generation, Gen Z, millennials. Oh. Challenging. So I would like to hear from, maybe we could start from Pak Yudi, right? Would you please let us know how to manage the expectations?
Thank you, Moderator. Pak Jumadi, thank you. Thank you. First of all, on behalf of the Audit Board of Indonesia, it's honor for me to be here. It's honor for me as well meet the President IFAC, Asante de for a country. Easy. So as mentioned, it's about the challenging. I think this is right. Right now, we just recruit like more than 200 new auditors, accountants. And now I am the head of training institute in the Audit Board of Indonesia. Now currently it's online to provide the basic knowledge and expertise for the new auditors. Given now it's almost average is 23 or 24. And the most important thing, they already selected by through very tough selection process. It's so tough. And all is come from the very reputable university in Indonesia. The problem is, as mentioned by you and Mr. Buke already mentioned, their expectations quite different with our work before. So I think I am the same with Mr. Ardan. We have already more than 30 years as a public auditor. So when I recruited as the auditor 30 years back is quite different when they are entering the audit institution, like in the audit board. Because of this thing, so 2 months ago, we discussed on how we design the trainings and curricula. You can imagine before, for new recruit, usually we provide 24 subject matter for accounting and for auditing a basic skill. Now we remodify to the 8 subject matters. This is one, in terms of the number of subject matter. because most of the subject matter that we deliver to the new recruit is in the public sector is more compliant issues because it's more we are dealing with the public sector, public financial management. This one. Second is about how we deliver the training itself. So then we are now using we call blended trainings. So we blend it. We're trying to combine self-learning, distance learning, and face-to-face meeting. But we don't want to put all things in a very basic delivery like class on site. But we are for the just knowing the information, they just go self-learning. It's easy for them to go because they are used to engage with the gadgets in it. And we provide all the very basic to the self-learning and distance learning. To be able to get the actual real study case, we come to the classes. So the all new recruits, they come to the classes after they understand what the problem they are learning from the self-learning and distance learning. So we don't want to they go to the classic unless they understand what the problem they are learning so far through the self-learning and distance learning. This is the second blended learning. The third one is about we are trying to transfer knowledge from the we call mentorship programs. Because it's not easy because everybody is very audit accounting is very complex, especially in public sectors, and it's so many lists of regulation, and especially in Indonesia, we have from the law until so even me, I couldn't understand all things. To be able to transfer knowledge, expertise, and experience, so we're using the mentorship program. So now we are design. We have 200 new auditor. We cluster them like just 10 or 20, and then we are designed to meet with the experienced auditors, like with clustering, and they can have a constructive dialogue to transfer their experience, what they are facing as the auditor so far, and we transfer to the new recruit. By then, it's easy to understand their expectations. Sometimes the new recruits understand from the knowledge or the textbooks, but if they come to the first speaker, first person who already engaged with the real case, it's easy to understand and have a constructive dialogue. This is our expectation. So those three approach that now we are in at the moment. This is I don't know the real the end of the journey, but at least now it's already in the middle of the trainings. We are expect because when we recruit the new recruit is 1 year as a provision, isn't it? Next April they have already as the public servants, but they have to follow the 5 months trainings. So now in the middle, we don't know the end of this training, but we are still challenging on how we mingles with this kind of millennial and generation Z. That's all from our institution. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pak Yudi. So there is 6 months to see this. But if it is successful, then you can sell the recipe to the rest of the audience here. Okay, thank you, Pak Yudi. Is there anyone from corporates or accounting firms or university who wants to comment on this? Or other regulators? Anyone? Yes, please.
Thank you. My name is Yuli. I'm from the Indonesian Chartered Accountant, the education compartment. So we've been talking a lot about this issue actually, right? Because we've been dealing with students, and we've seen a decline in students who apply to the accounting program. And I think what Mr. Buko is saying, so I made notes, ownership of the brand. I think that's something that's really important. So how could university develop this early during the process of being an accountant? And I feel so my son is also graduating from high school, And he's like, no, 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 accounting is like, no, right? Like he's really good with numbers, but not accounting, right? And I think one of the things is they think it's something that's really technical, something that's like redundant and not really exciting. So I think the excitement thing is what the Gen Z is looking for. And so I think we need to frame accountant as something that's more strategic. Like, I know like kids like playing games, right? But accounting is like, you can detect anomaly, for example. So that's what you do in games, right? You detect anomaly and you find trends and then you find strategy, how you can win the games. So accounting is something that you can frame like that, right? If you understand financial report, if you know accounting, if you know finance, then you basically understand organizations and you can basically see what happened in the world that's now becoming really brittle, right? You can see what happened in the world, and then you can picture that in the numbers, and you can make prediction. You can detect, like I said, the anomaly, and then you can think about the strategy that will be suitable for the future. So I think that's how we should actually frame the accounting education. It's not like, okay, you have to understand debit and credit for sure, right? But then it's just like a beginning, and then it will become something that's more and more strategic in the future. So that's what I think us as accounting educators need to really think of bring the brand, the awareness, and then how they have the ownership of being an accountant. So I think that's just from my point of view. Thank you.
Okay, very well said. Thank you very much. Yeah. So understanding business issues, right? It's not just debit credit, although we have to thank Luca Pacioli, right, for bringing that up in the 15th century. So thank you very much. I think that's very insightful. Now, I'll just like to pivot back to IFAC, right? This time, I want to go to Professor Siddhartha. Yeah. So after hearing what the audience have said, right, Prof, what is the global best practices that IFAC has observed in revitalizing the attractiveness of the profession for younger generation? So what's the observation of IFAC? Is it the same or it is something else? Can you please
Okay. Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very glad to be here to share our thoughts on how to make sure that the profession stays relevant despite all the changes that some see may threat our profession. For example, in terms of IT digitalization, some of views that most works of accountants can be automated, which is true. Okay, but of course, I think the position of IFAC, as mentioned earlier by Zhang, is that and it also reflected in our member value propositions that the accounting profession has to stay relevant, and also has to be reputable and value. Okay, and how can we achieve that? First of all, I think it's very important that as accountants, we need to embrace change. We need to see change, in the environment, not as a threat, but also but as an opportunity, to improve our values. And by changing our mindset, looking at all these digitalizations and so on, not as a threat but as opportunities, then I think we will embrace this change. And also, of course, we also need to change, and that's why some of you know that IFAC also produced the international education standards. And if you look at the standards, the skills that are there, it's not just the technical competence, but also professional skills and also ethics, values, and attitudes. Okay, so we emphasize that as a professional accountant, you need to also have soft skills, not just number crunching. And one also important skills that we hope all professional accountants have is that the ability to have a lifelong learning. Lifelong learning meaning that when there is a change, then you try to improve your competencies so that your service or whatever you do will be valuable, for whoever that you serve. So I think that is very important, lifelong learning. And the next one is also that we also make sure that our profession, this is also stated in our member value propositions, that the accounting profession has to maintain its integrity and professional quality. Why? Because we serve the public interest. I think that's a very basic. And this is also, so we need to maintain our brand. So that's why it's very important. I mean, maybe also some of the reason why the attractions to go to the accounting professions, because it's our own mistakes. There are scandals, fraud in the financial statements and so on. And this is highly publicized. So that results a negative image on the accounting profession. So we ourselves just have to guard our profession. We need to make sure that when we provide our service, we stick to the ethical code, and also we provide the highest quality of service that, and of course later all the stakeholders will appreciate us. I think that is very important. And IFAC itself, that's why IFAC keep continuing improving the international education standards. 5 years ago, we revised the standards primarily in terms of the IT, the information ITC, information communication technology skills. We upgraded, the requirement to be a professional accountant. That was 5 years ago. And just recently, last year, we just also revised our international education standard in terms of the sustainabilities. And when we revise this in terms of the sustainabilities, it's not just only the technical competence that the accountants have to understand the need, about the ESG, environmental, social, and governance, but also in terms of the skill set. I mean, if we want to lead, in terms of these directions towards more sustainability, I think also the commitment to have a public interest is also very important, because it's not just our direct client that we serve, but also the public in general. So I think we need to remind of that. And also we, in terms of, for example, sustainability, we also, the international standards of auditing, we just also enacted the international standard of auditing to audit sustainability disclosures. And also the other one is the ethics, even the international, the ethics code. We also revise to make sure that professional accountants can adopt, can be the leading, professions in terms of assuring the reliability of the sustainability disclosures. So I think that's the basic that we need to do. We need to embrace change, not seeing it as a threat, but seeing it as opportunities. And the second one, of course, the image. I think like your son telling you, I think we need to make better communications to the public. Yes, of course, accountants will in the future we will still be dealing with numbers, but it's more than that. It's more than that. We're dealing with numbers, but the purpose is to make sure that our service provide a very useful information for everybody to make decisions, to make intelligent, well-informed decisions. So I think that is very important for us. I think, for example, like IAI, now you have the motto beyond numbers, see beyond numbers. That's our motto now, see beyond numbers. So I think we have to use more tagline like that, to communicate to the public. And of course, we don't want to be like in a movie, The Accountant by Ben Affleck. Have you seen that movie? In that movie, accountant is portrayed like James Bond, but of course, no. Okay, still stick to our profession, but we need to inform public that we provide more values. And for example, instead of lagging behind, with in the change, we're leading the change. And I think so far from my observation in terms of these sustainability matters, the accounting professions actually is quite leading the way. So I think that's my thought. Thank you.
It's very good to hear that, right? I mean, we're still leading, yeah, in sustainability at least, right? In a world of profession agnostic when it comes to sustainability. Okay, actually, I still got one question, but given the time, maybe I'll just move or turn on to the technology disruption that we have seen so far, right? If I think about it, right, I mean, I mentioned about Luca Pacioli back in the 15th century, right? And then accounting was defined as the process of what? Recording financial transactions, classifying those, summarizing, and then interpreting it, right? So after the Renaissance age, we got to the industrial age in the 18th century, go to the information age after the invention of transistors and computers, right? Going to the digital. So all of the activities of recording, classifying, summarizing, that actually can be pretty much handled by the machine. And then we are now entering into the intelligence age, right? Remember the last part, interpreting the information. And that really needs cognitive human nature kind of capabilities. And the AI age now, the intelligent age, is giving us that capabilities, right? So question then, as already mentioned also by some of the panelists, what are you going to do about it, right? When all of these things are already in the market, so how would that actually affect us? So I want to, since Professor Siddhartha still has the mic, so I'll just turn again to him. So my question to you, Prof, is what is IFAC's outlook on how AI, automation, and data analytics change the accountant's role?
Thank you. I think it will change a lot on how we do our job, because of course we need to. If our task can be done by machine, or supported by AI, so be it. We need to take advantage of that. This results in a better quality of our service. Remember again, MVB. Integrity and also quality, professional quality. So if we can use all these technology stuffs, like AI and so on, to increase, for example, for auditor, to increase the likelihood of finding errors, that's good. Okay, and that will result in the higher audit quality. Higher audit quality consists of independence and competence. Competence meaning the likelihood of the auditor finding an error or a misstatement. If we can use this automation and others, so I think that's good. So we need. I think that's very important for the profession. So we have to embrace the change, and of course, to do that, we also need to improve ourselves in terms of our mastery of IT. Okay, so that's why I mentioned earlier that the international education standard it was just revised the requirement for ICT skill for professional accountants. So I think that is very important. And the next one is that as a professional accountants, we also have to make sure that this process, the IT and so on, yes, it will. Some accountant jobs will be decreasing, especially at the technical level. But we need to make sure that overall, because we provide valuable service, for example, in terms of sustainability. Okay, I also touched about the sustainability, and then because the accountants is leading in this area, so the demand for auditors to conduct assurance on sustainability report and so on will also increase. And also accountants are quite considered expert in terms of internal control, developing and designing internal control. So I think in terms of that, I think we need, and of course, as accountants, you also have to have this IT skill. So you as accountants, I think we are quite having an advantage in identifying the risk, the risk of this, the risk of digital IT and so on in terms of internal control, and that will increase the demand of accounting service. So that's why I was just giving an examples on how these changes in the IT can be used by us to improve the variety of service that we can provide, in which in the past we may not have this. And so in that cases, then it will trigger the demand for the accounting service. So I think that's in the general that I want to say. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Very insightful. So I remember the quote from Jensen Huang, right? And maybe all of you have already heard about that, right? So what he was mentioning is, what was he mentioning? So he actually mentioned that, people that use AI is going to be replacing people that do not use AI. So it's not so much about the AI replacing the people, right? So Prof. Tata also mentioned about the skills. So let me pivot now to the audience here, the FGD participants. What sort of challenges have you seen in your workplace, in your institution, in your organization, in terms of how to upskill your talents when it comes to the digital capabilities, to be able to actually face the challenges ahead and turn the challenges into opportunities, like Prof. Tata was saying. So anyone wants to? I will pick one if no one raises hand. Just kidding. Maybe anyone from corporates, from the banks, please. Anyone? Oh yeah, please. Yeah.
Bank Mandiri.
Bank Mandiri. Yeah.
Okay, good afternoon, Prof. Tata, Mr. Boku, Adet, dan Pak Jumadi. I'm Kevin from Bank Mandiri Accounting Policy Departments.
Yeah.
So basically, I totally agree with Mr. Boku and Prof. Siddhartha said that how we as a accountant should embrace the rise of the technology, ICT usage. So basically in Bank Mandiri, currently our accounting divisions is very focusedly on transforms how we work with embracing the technology. So like maybe it's robotic, not so basically it's automations, not really AI, artificial intelligence adaptations, but more like automations, like what Mr. Buku already said in the remarks before, how we should automate the low value tax and more focusing on the value added. So basically we are in accounting division in Bank Mandiri, we try to automate all of the BAU, the very repetitive tasks that we currently facing, to be able to promote what we can give as a business partner. Definitely like finance and internal control side in Bank Mandiri. So most of other divisions in the Bank Mandiri definitely will go to the accounting first to ask about the data. So basically all the financial data we are as accountant well known about single source of truth for all of the performance, all of the positions of the entities. So basically that what we want to achieve, how we are an accountant in the corporate to be shifting to more to give more insights, to give more value-added informations, high quality value-added information, how we could clustering all the data to give to our stakeholders in the business side, in the performance management side. So it will give the more value added in our corporate. So basically that what we face, and how challenging it is. Definitely it is something that definitely not our specialty in accounting. So basically we are work closely to our corporate transformation and IT team, and where those units definitely give us the insight, give us the how those ICT things could really help us, and it really needs the push from the top to push from the top. So basically, us in the accounting division definitely encouraged to have this digitalization and automation, daily workshop, daily meetings with all of the transformation and IT team definitely. So basically that's what we face, and that's the challenges to have this automation. And maybe in the next 1 or 2 years, AI will be definitely come to all sides of the life. Yeah, definitely accounting. Yeah, we should embrace like, for example, some of the business units come to accounting with they initial research from the ChatGPT or Gemini. They come to me as an accounting policy team. Mas Kevin, I already researched in ChatGPT or in Gemini that the accounting treatment for these things will be like this. Is that true? So basically, what Pak Jumandi already said, if the interpretation is already captured by the AI, what we in accounting will be give to the our corporation, our entity, is definitely we need to working on, and we should embrace and adapt to those things. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think in the past, when people talking about IFRS 16, for example, you're gonna be saying, "Hey, talk to me about IFRS 16." But now they'll be talking to ChatGPT and then confirm the answer to you. Okay, thank you. And I think that's interesting, and it is it is very, very on point when somebody was saying that accountants have to sift the paradigm of not just debit and credit or how to record things, but more on the strategy, on the business issues, right? So I'm sure that Mandiri is going that path, right? All right. So if I look at IFAC's strategic objectives, right, there is leading and developing a future-ready profession. And that would include the mastery of this technology, right? So now I want to turn to Mr. Buko. My question is, how does actually IFAC guide PAOs in adopting and regulating the use of emerging technologies in professional practice? Because there are quite a lot of dimension in that, right? Including maybe you guys have already heard also about hallucination risk, right? In terms of AI, so how is it going to be regulated? Mr. Buko, please.
Yes, we have something in our organization which is, and we work with those groups. We have a panel. We call it an international panel on accountancy education, and this panel, which is and everything at IFAC except 50 employees. IFAC is 50, that's all. So the rest of IFAC is the work of all volunteers. I insist on that. And Siddhartha is a volunteer. We have other volunteers around the table, and volunteers, we have them in numerous numbers. It is incredible how much we attract because our profession is, yes, it's truly global, not only by the word you have given and which are the word which IFAC repeats, but it's global and world because everyone feels concerned about what IFAC tries to do. So we have volunteers from all over the world who try to, who would like to work with us, and so we have, and not anyone can be there, and we don't want everyone to stay forever. It has to be revolving, and it has also to reflect all the geographical positions of our profession. So it's all around the world. So, but let me just say, come back to your question, because otherwise I will I will miss it. So we have this international panel on education, on accountancy education. Well, it has recently, and Siddhartha mentioned it, played a role. It was last year in defining standards for to remain relevant in the field of sustainability. If we come now to AI, the panel, so volunteers with a chair, with organizing the work with a few staff people. The panel has decided to explore, so it is at the moment, to explore how AI is reshaping the learning process. That's why what we started with. And also because we all have in mind that the AI competencies of future accountants should also should be taken into account. So this has to be considered in the learning process, and also to think about new pathways for aspiring professionals to obtain their professional accountancy qualifications. So this is something which at the moment we are working on. And also we are, and this is a little more advanced, we are revising the International Education Statement, which is number 6, on formal assessments to modernize the standard to reflect post-pandemic realities. For instance, online examinations, which we did not consider in the past, which now are expected by many, and which also are possible, which was not the case so far recently. And but we also have to make sure that this is something which works and which does not create another risk. Because probably one thing I would just add on this question of new technology, AI, and it's the risk they create, and it was mentioned that it's the fact that yes, we should not take it as granted. It's not because ChatGPT says something, and same for the way AI is in the accounting side. It doesn't mean that because the data have been produced this way that it's good. So this is, and we also have some other more important now items of security, of cyber security. So everything has to be taken into account, and this has to be considered. And this is why we have something to bring to our clients, because most of the time at the moment, our clients will take for granted many things, and we have this judgment, this critical approach, this way of thinking differently, which brings some value, even if we are not the experts, but raising some questions asking the client where the data come from, and making this basic for us, have this basic attitude is also critical, and this gives us back some more presence in this new environment, and especially in small and medium-sized entities, where as a practitioner, as an auditor, as an accountant, we can raise questions which our the entities have not even thought about. So it gives also us the purpose which we still have. It materializes this purpose by being accountant, and we should not be afraid of doing this and afraid of saying this. And this, finally, this can also give some confidence to our colleagues who sometimes think, and we hear that, oh, I'm frightened, I am afraid. No, we have many things to say and to do without being an engineer or an expert.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Buko. Very insightful. Yeah. Yeah, I remember a case back in Hong Kong where there was a deep fake news. Have you guys ever heard about that, right? So the perpetrators actually used deep fake to create situation where he became the CFO of a clerk or a cashier, right? And then he called her and then tell her to actually transfer money, and she did transfer, right? That's how the case surfaced. Now, as mentioned by Mr. Buko as well, right? And also Prof. Tata, technology can be very powerful, but it also brings with it a lot of risks, right? Now, I would like to get, a view from the audience. Maybe this time I will go to accounting firm, yeah, on actually how do you build capacity, right? And strengthening the governance to support the adoption of this technology in your organization. Yeah, just before you answer that, right? Just to add about a little bit about that, we have seen that the tendency or the trend that accounting firms are now racing to apply AI in the audits and also data analytics. So like Prof. Tata was saying, maybe in the very near future, we will be auditing on the population, no longer using sampling, right? You put all the data in one repository, you ask the AI to do it, check everything, and then tell me what's wrong, right? For example. But with it, I think, yeah, with great power comes great responsibility. That's what the Spider-Man said, right? So I want to hear from you, what is it that you have done in your organization to tackle that issue? Anyone from accounting firm? Ibu Ningsi or Pak Adi, or you, sir, please.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Ramon from Deloitte Indonesia. So to respond your question, Pak Jubadi, so basically, we as accountant, maybe specifically as auditor, we need to respond the risk that trigger from the use of IT or any technology. So at the minimum, now what are we doing in our firm is we have to assess on the cyber risk matter. Yeah, cyber risk. So because of specifically for the listed company, because of the use of IT is increasing in recent years, so there is a risk that cyber risk that may impact to the companies in terms of process or operation, or maybe that can impact to the numbers in the financial statement. So that's why at the minimum from our side, we need to assess on whether there is a risk issue, cyber risk issue, and if there is any, then it's going to be like there will be like additional procedure that we need to extend, because if something happen and the company's firewall or in the IT system has been breached, then there will be a risk on the other area. Yeah. So that is the first one, and then the second one, yes, we did we use the data analytic or big data analysis as part of our audit process. So maybe for the simple one, I can give an example like by doing a three-way match using the data or big data, and then we just do testing on the outliers. Yeah. So for example, if there is an outliers, we can focus on the outliers one. Why this population of transaction is not included in the normal one? Yeah, there is maybe one of the example that we do. But I think one of the challenges, because the client now is basically try to adopt AI in their process, maybe specifically on the finance one. For example, like the credit approval, like 5-minute instant approval from the credit. So my first question to the client is, how can you comfortable with the assessment of the AI? So even the credit is give on site in the car. In the car examination, like in Indonesian audit, Indonesian motor examination, and then the customer came, and then they just give the credit the approval. So basically, we have no choice other than to respond to this event lah. So basically, we still doing like our manual one to make sure that this one is actually is work, and then we do like input and output testing for the but if the use of AI is already extensive and we cannot cover in the manual testing, of course, as an auditor, we need to assign a specialist. We assign a AI specialist or IT specialist that can give us another view on how to test these matters and to get the audit evidence, to form audit opinion. Yeah, I think that's all from us.
Thank you, Pak Raymond. While you're still on the mic, Pak, so do you have any expectations, right, on what sort of regulations that regulators might want to actually issue when it comes to this kind of things, Pak? Right? For example, the use of AI in audits. Does it have to be regulated, or you think that the current regulations perhaps is already sufficient?
Actually, the one that we use now is mainly on the big data analysis, but the clients already use the AI one. Myself is I have not comfortable yet to use the AI to audit, but I need to test the client that use the AI. Maybe later on from regulator side, if we see that the use of AI is already massive, and then we may need to sit and talk together on how we need to do audit on and what is the expectation lah. Because as long as we can have a regular discussion with regulator, of course we can set a better regulation for our profession and also for the preparer of financial statement.
Okay. Okay, before we move on to Ningsi, ya, silakan Bu Ningsi. Yeah, okay, please, Pak, Bu.
Thank you, Jumadi. So good afternoon, Pak Ardan, Mr. Boko, Professor Tata. So good afternoon, everyone. So I'm representing the Indonesian Institute of Certified Public Accountants, and I would like to add a few things. That's French. That's the AI.
In French, it's for me.
Yeah, I think this following up of your questions, Pak Jumadi. Yeah, you asked about what would we expect from the regulators. Maybe I can also share what ERP has been doing, yeah, to address this technological related risks. Yeah, first, we are aware that the technology risk is very important, yeah, for our professions, because now the auditors, yeah, start using, yeah, many technology like AI, etc. So the first thing that we actually put attention is in terms of the code of ethics. Yeah. So in ISBA, they already issue, yeah, the code of ethics related to technology. Yeah. So our committee, yeah, ethical committee in ERP put that a priority, and they have issued actually, and we have adopted the financial pronouncement technology related revision of the code. I think this one is very important, yeah, because first this code, yeah, the standard is aims to accommodate, yeah, the rapid development of technology and its impact, yeah, on accounting and also to auditors, yeah, and also adoption of these standards emphasizes the importance of the ethical attitudes, yeah, and professional behavior when the professional utilize technology, yeah. And the other thing also, of course, strengthening the basic principle, yeah, of the code of ethics, such as confidentiality, data confidentiality, professional competence, and also dealing with complexity. Yeah. So I think this the one that we believe is very important to address the technology risk. And I would also like to share about, if you don't mind, yeah,
Sure.
maybe just a few minutes about the building capacity. Yeah. So we believe, and I personally believe, yeah, that technology will not replace our profession. Technology will not replace auditors. Yeah. But we have to be friends with technology. Yeah, we have to embrace technology because technology should help us to perform our job as the auditors, and impact will create, yeah, our job more effective, efficient, and actually if we use it properly, yeah, will actually increase the audit quality. Yeah, so that's, I think when we talk among, yeah, the profession in ERP, and also I personally believe, I think that's the case. Yeah. So I think ERP has been actively participates, yeah, in several how we building the capacity of our members. Yeah, so we actively participate, yeah, in webinar with the other PAO, and in fact today, I think about 2 p.m. or 4 p.m. there will be ERP and ACCA, yeah, a webinar which is navigating digital accounting, yeah, aligning skills with finance tech innovations. Yeah, so I think something like this is part of the building capacity, yeah, to our members. Yeah, and also many continuing educations that focus, yeah, on this topic. Yeah, one of it, yeah, that we just recently did it, yeah, in March, is how do accounting and auditing aspect play a role in developing AI applications. Yeah. And also we actually just, I think this week, yeah, we participate in KPAP. So KPAP is actually one of the committee within the Ministry of Finance. We have a webinar, yeah, webinar with the topic, the role of artificial intelligence and audit competency in increasing auditor professional skepticism. And this webinar actually attended by thousands of audience, comprised of students, yeah, professionals, yeah, corporates, and we believe this is one of the things, yeah, that we can build, yeah, the capacity, yeah, to our members. Well, yeah, we believe, yeah, technology is very important, yeah, to our profession. So I think that's all, Pak Jumadi. What I would like to add.
Thank you so much, Woningsi. Very, very informative and insightful. And I'm glad to hear that a lot of things have been going on to actually tackle this issue. Yeah. I know this is a very, very interesting topic, right? But because of the time limitation, we need to pivot and turn on to the other, not less interesting topic as well, which is sustainability. Yeah. So thank you so much. So when I think about sustainability, right, you know, I kind of try to go back to when the accounting profession becomes very prominent. And that is actually when the industrial age, where the the revolution, the industrial revolution, and the capitalism is being propelled since then, right? And then accounting then evolves to actually, again, record, summarize, classify, and then tell all of the capital owners how much money a company is making and what is the financial position that they are in, right? In order for them actually to make decisions on where to put their capital in, right? But then now, people are asking, okay, you make a huge profit, but at what cost? And is that cost actually being reported in the financials, right? If you're making a lot of profits by hurting the nature, then it will come to the existential question, right? On whether we're going to be here to actually enjoy your profit later on as an investor, right? Now, that is when I think this sustainability issue has come into the picture as a very prominent issue. Because if we don't have the world that we are living in, then nothing else matters, right? So this is why now sustainability is something that is very, very important for us to talk about. Yeah. Okay, so to start the discussion about sustainability reporting, I will now go to Mr. Buko and ask, how is IFAC supporting global adoption of IFRS S1 and S2, which are issued by ISSB? Mr. Buko, please.
Yes, we, from the very starting point when sustainability became an issue, and it's not so far away. It's I remember when I joined the IFAC board in 2020, it was just the beginning of the theme as such. We were talking at the board about sustainability. Where should we be as accountants? Is there something we should do? How do we approach it? And so on and so on. And then because we have in our mind permanently the fact that if our profession goes into a matter, a subject, we should have a unified view. We should talk about it as a profession, as a worldwide profession. So immediately after the fact that some of us pushed on the on sustainability as a topic which the profession should embrace, which the profession should look at and should be involved in, we were very, very keen to make sure that there were not in the future many initiatives around the world which would not converge. And that's what the case. If you remember, there were a lot of organizations which were thinking about sustainability, thinking about ESG, thinking about how to have reporting which makes sense, and who should do that reporting, what the reporting should cover, and so on and so on. And we talked, we engaged, and we had discussions, and we were very happy that IFRS Foundation decided that this was a very important topic, and that we could not in the future talk about financial information without talking about non-financial information and sustainability information as such. So IFRS Foundation created ISSB starting from nowhere, built a team, built everything, got money to organize this, and we, from the beginning, we supported ISSB organization, even though there were some other activities of finding the right standards, the appropriate standards, and I'm thinking about a lot about CSRD in Europe. CSRD went very far and very fast. And our objective was not to say S1 and S2 are the only ones in the world. If CSRD is a good thing, good for Europe, good for CSRD. The only thing we mentioned at that time, and that's also very, it's 2-3 years ago. It's not, we are not talking about the past. We are talking about the immediate past. And we always said, okay, please, ISSB, please, CSRD, and whoever else, keep in mind that this should be interoperable, that we should be able to talk not a language which doesn't match with the other language. That was critical because then we could not say this is only one or this is only the second. So we wanted this to be interoperable, and it happened. CSRD and ISSB talked together. It took some time. It was not easy. There was in Singapore beginning of this week a session which was organized by ISSB to teach to articulate some lessons for practitioners. And Sue Lloyd with Emmanuel Faber, with the head of ISSB, we were talking about this and off the record. And yes, she told me it was not easy to talk, to engage together, but they did. So that's good. So now we are, as IFAC, we are proud to push on S1 and S2, especially because also in Europe, and I'm not going to enter into politics, but in Europe, CSRD at the moment is a bit, well, it is not, it is having some difficulties. Well, it will take more time than expected only a few months ago, or 2 or 3 months ago. So it's going fast on one direction and the other direction. Yeah. So anyway, S1 and S2, we are promoting it. So we are also following the way it is in each country. It is considered as a standard which makes sense, and the way also then once each country does it, how it is used appropriately. So it means once again, it means that we have each country. It's not only adopting; it's then empowering. It is making sure that the standards are understood and our true language, which makes sense for the practitioners. So that's in a short answer. That's what we do. We also take this message on the road because it is a road. It is we are on the road, and it is. I used to say it is a bumpy road. It's not. So there are moments where it goes fast. Some others it doesn't. We also know that ISSB thinks about S3. When will it come? How complex will it be? So this is these are steps which are ahead of us. But we encourage our member organizations to take this message. But you are in a country, and I'm very impressed by the fact that your country has adapted S1, S2. In some other countries, it's still not yet the case, and it will. So it's also a question of politics and conviction, and making sure that it's not only the PAO who may decide. It's also of course, the governments which and the parliaments which and the organization of corporations which make it happen or not happen. So good for you, but that's only the beginning of the of going in the road, because then you will come to assurance, and well, we can talk about this also. But you asked me about S1 and S2. That's why.
Thank you, Mr. Uko. So next year, maybe S3, yeah, the biodiversity. So, yeah, I've heard a lot of people saying adopting standard is one thing, implementing it is another thing, right? So I would like to hear from the floor on, what do you think is the biggest regulatory or practical challenges in implementing sustainability reporting in Indonesia? I know it's not yet finalized. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. That's the startup sector. Yeah, Prabandari also is here. I think the roadmap is there already, issued in November 2024. The exposure draft of S1, S2 has already been issued, right? The board actually is comprised of a very good mix of preparers, professionals, regulators, right? So my question is, what would be the most challenging regulatory and practical challenges? Anyone want to? Sure, sure. Oh, my.
Thank you very much. I think last month, if I'm not mistaken, the audit board Indonesia have a draft of the exposure. Then we provided the input. If I'm not mistaken, yes, we have already put on list the input on the draft of the S1, S2. But I don't want to explain about this one, but it is more practical comments from my views. Before I'm explaining, 3 years I was in the Intosai Development Initiative as the manager of sustainable development for capacity building for 140 countries in developing SDGs auditing. So that time, Mr. Bruko, I think your friend Bruce Vivian is my colleague in Intosai developing the professional education for SAI auditors. One thing that we challenging the time on how we develop the audit model for this SDGs before I'm going to S1 and S2. This is 2017 when UN opened the global initiative of sustainable development goals and go as many kind of sustainability framework, a GRI, so many and assurance and so many more than 7 sustainable framework at the moment before ES1 and S2. From the angle of the global audits like us, the public sector audit is quite important to have ES1, S2. Why? Because from the angle of the countries, somehow it's too much. It's like see from the sky, isn't it? When one country achieve the SDGs goal, for example, it's not come from the state institution, but also non-state institution, including all companies, private banks, and everything. By having the standard framework of ES1, S2, even is not cover all things, but at least there is standard for reporting. I think it's quite a big, significant leaps for one country to composite all the sustainable effort for one country. And I think the ES1, S2 is okay, even though I believe there is behind this so many discussion on what the exact regulatory framework for the sustainability report. One thing that from me as my observation, because I'm more than 7 years as part of the SDGs initiative at the moment, even though in our audit training, we provided the SDGs training, auditing SDGs training for some of other countries. Last year, we provided training for green economies, and next 3 years, we providing blue economies on how we combine all auditor to audit all the initiative in one countries in terms of sustainability things. From the angle of the companies at the moment in Indonesia, for my view, first, I think it's about the lack of clear guidance for beside the banks and I think listed companies, isn't it? Because OJK is already put all the, but OJK not mentioning the S1, S2 because it's 3 years ago, isn't it? And so on, they can follow any kind of sustainable framework. One of them is GRI, for example. As long as fill the criteria, I think okay. The problem is how we can take all the initiative if we would like to apply the ES1, S2 for example, for semi or medium enterprise. And you know, Indonesia is big country. This is not a bank and listed company. If you are taking into account all the players in Indonesia, this small medium enterprise is huge. If we want to put beside the bank and listed company to go to medium scale or small, I think it's quite huge. And it not only reporting financial information, but also non-financial information. As I mentioned, it's about the climate related and everything. It's a huge effort for Indonesia, maybe next 10 years. This one. The second, I think, is about the, again, regulatory alignment. Disclosure of sustainability reporting, I think it's not easy as I see, because as you discussed in it, we are from the very homogeneous because we just expose the financial information and then go very heterogeneous. It's depend on the line of business of the sectors in it. The banking, the mining is quite different. So you can imagine if small medium enterprise follow the S1, S2, isn't it? So we need some harmonization in terms of standard setting. I think two things that my view on the challenges that in implementing self-reporting, even though we haven't started yet to effective implementation of sustainability, lack of clear guidance for as small medium enterprise, yeah, and regulatory alignment. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Yes, and if I may, we cannot go forward, and you rightly mentioned the difficulties, but we cannot go forward if there is no assurance on this information, because we could have greenwashing even with good standards, and we could miss the target totally. And we know the past when when companies were giving some information which was not comparable. So assurance goes with S1 and S2. That's why I'm coming back to this, even though it was not in your initial question, but you raised it. If there is no level of assurance, and this is another debate, what level of assurance, who is going to do it, and so on. But we are engaged at IFAC in this debate because we feel that the ones who are the most suitable, once they have gone through the exercise of being trained and understanding the matter, are our profession. This is for us. This is from the beginning. It was something we really were concerned about, but today even more, because once countries are entering into adapting S1 and S2, then comes who is going to give some level of assurance on this. And we know we are not the only ones who pretend to have some knowledge, or we will have the knowledge, but we bring something which nobody has, which is our code of ethics and our approach to things. So, but I will stop there because I could talk forever.
Thank you, Mr. Buka. But I think that is very relevant, right? And I think it's a very interesting thing to actually discuss, right? I don't know whether there's any comments, because I know IAA 5000 has already been issued. It's going to be effective 2027. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm adhering this from PwC Indonesia. Yeah. So I think, go back to the early discussion, right? How the profession is becoming more attractive. I think sustainability is one of the route that we should really push forward. And then, like what Mr. Buko was saying, right? Adoption of technology, right? Especially, adoption of AI in the process of audits, accounting is really key, because those younger generations attract to this kind of things, right? And if we want to attract them, then we should be adopting all of these. And talking about sustainability, right, from my experience, right, is really to produce those informations. It's like you're producing a financial statement, right? You gotta have a financial reporting system, but for sustainability informations, right? And then for that, for us to be able to give assurance, then you need to have, okay, how you accumulate those information, how you build controls. Can we test your controls, right? If we can't do that, then we can't really give any assurance, right? So that's an area that I think, like what Mr. Buko said, we are the one that have those expertise. We are the one that have those experience in the past, right? And then we should be the one that, helping companies, because all of this sustainability report, right, has to be signed by the directors. Actually, it's their fiduciary duties to sign that, right? Now, if they signing something without basis, without support, right, they could be in trouble, right? So this is an area that I think we should be, talking more about that. I think the challenge is a lot of practitioner out there, they don't even look into, okay, how is this information arrive, right? How do you accumulate this, right? A lot of them is just, okay, signing off, right? And without any, basis for that. And some of the company's director not aware that they are signing to this, they actually responsible for that, right? They could be held accountable if they signing something that is not right, I think. So probably that's something I can share, yeah.
Thank you, Pak Eddie. Just to top up on that, yeah, there's also a quality management system, right, that they actually need to be looking at. So I don't know whether there's any comments or any possibly guidance from JK or Ministry of Finance on this. Anyone wants to talk a bit more about this before we move on? Yeah. Phoebe?
I think for the sustainability reporting, we all know that in Indonesia, most of the sector that already mature is the state-owned enterprises. But for the government sector or public sector is less mature. And what Pak Yudi mentioning, less mature, especially for the, the less economy industry, that's very, very low. But we should hear what the government from, I think we have Bu Dwi Martani, is from the government accounting standard. Sorry, I hit on you because the government standard committee is the one who responsible to develop the government accounting standard, and I think the sustainability reporting is already in front of us, which is we as a government office have to prepare for the sustainability reporting. Sorry, but I think that's better to have you to say something whether our government's ready to produce the standard, the government standard. This.
Okay, thank you, Bu Vivi, and also thank you, Mr. Buku, and also Pak Ardan. I'm from the government accounting standard related to the how to prepare the accounting professional for prepare the government accounting standard. I think it is on the page because we have the Polytechnic Negeri Stan. That is the college that prepare for the government officer that prepare for the financial statement. So far, I think the interesting of the young professional to go to the government accounting sectors it's very huge. Yeah, it is no decreasing of the interest in the government accounting sector. I think, because what is the cause? Because the first the government accounting financial statement, that is very the new, because we about the 15 years we have the government financial accounting. Before that, we didn't have the government financial accounting report. Yeah, so that is a very new era in the Indonesian government. And in terms of the development of the accounting standard, we follow the international public sector accounting standard also, but maybe still behind. We have any gap in the government accounting standard in Indonesia with the international public sector accounting standard. So many standards that not yet adapted, but the important standard we have it about the fixed asset, about the financial instrument like that. We have adapted, but not all of the IPSAS we adapted, and we know that the IPSAS issued the exposure draft about the sustainability. We right now we also try to adopt this sustainability standard, but maybe in the second priority. My first priority is to complete the IPSAS update. After we completed, we move on to the sustainability standard. That is my self from the government accounting sectors.
And thank you for mentioning IPSAS board activity in sustainability, because it is still very recent, and it demonstrates also that IFAC is not only concentrating for sustainability on the private sector, but of course, public sector. It is so important. Thank you.
Okay, so we expect that there is going to be an attention paid to that segment very soon juga ya Bu Du ya. Okay. All right. Can I have someone from the corporates talk about where their journey is when it comes to adoption of these sustainability reporting? I know POJK 51 is there already, and it's mostly based on GRI, right? Pretty much. But are you actually moving towards IFRS S1, S2, and can you actually let us know what the challenges are? Anyone from? Oh, yeah, silakan Pak.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm Arif Susano from Bank SMBC Indonesia, Sumitomo Mitsui. So it's a Japanese banking. So yeah, in terms of the preparation, we actually aim to get there, Pak. So we are trying to adopt the standard as far as the. But there are a couple of action that we are going to do. For example, we have our current SR reporting is comply with GRI, but we are trying to move forward to the IFRS standard. In our experience, we have a lot of take away from the current CRMST credit risk, climate risk stress testing. So those data we use a lot that it will combine into the carbon emission for us to be provided into the IFRS S1 S2 standard. But this is still a challenge, although because the CRST that we have is actually still only limited to maybe scope 1, scope 2, but scope 3 for the finance emission is very much difficult for us in banks. So I think those are the biggest challenge for us, because it needs to have some maybe like a regulation or something that enforcing this throughout all the big corporates that have access to banking. Yeah, so it's easier for us in banks to get into there. Of course, and we are thankful that EIA is not yet get into the scope 3 responsibility at this point of time. But it's a journey. But we need those kind of support and things that in the government and also in the regulators to get into that point, Pak. Yeah, I think that's some sharing from our side. Yeah.
Okay, but it's coming, right? Scope 3. What? Any comments from the regulators, perhaps from OJK, or is there anyone from OJK? Oh, yeah. Do you want to comment, Pak?
So, thank you for the opportunity, but I'm representing the OJK, but unfortunately, about the sustainability and specifically about the carbon credit, I'm not in charge in that because I'm from the sector of digital asset and crypto. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Pak. No problem, Pak. Okay, so let me then continue to question to Professor Siddhartha. So my question is, what role does IFAC see for PAOs and accountants in supporting organization sustainability transformation, right? Because some of the issues or challenges have already been explained by the corporates. So I want to get your insight on, what they can actually do and how PAO can actually support them. Prof.
Okay,
please.
thank you. So the role of PAO and accountants in supporting the organizational transformation, sustainability transformation. So the keyword is sustainability transformation, because in the past, the industry, the companies, we are used to focus on financial performance.
Yeah.
Okay, financial performance is the king, and as a result, all the information, for the external users, for the investors, and also for management, and also more focus on financials. But now, in terms of the need for sustainability, it has to change. Okay, we have the investors and also external parties. They require companies to also produce their performance in terms of environmental and also social matters. And also internally, okay, the management and also the board also now require informations not only on financials but also on non-financials, and so that they can develop strategies to embed sustainability matters in their business model. Because in the past, like in Indonesia, Indonesia companies actually, according to the company law, they are required to perform the corporate social responsibilities. But in most cases, then these companies conduct the CSR more in terms of providing donation, like charity and so on. So, the business model is still on focusing on financials, while the CSR activities is something separate, from the business process or the business model of the companies. But in terms of this, the sustainability method, it has to change. So sustainability matters have to be integrated in the business process, with the business models, and that's why you have this S1 and S2. S1 requires companies to assess their risk and opportunities in terms of sustainability from the value chain of the companies. So I think, given that we, as accountants, we are expert in providing information. Information is our job, providing information. While for business, information is like blood in the human body. So I think we accounting profession has advantage of this on making the change, and also decisions. And so that's why I think IFAC see this, as the opportunities, for professional accountants to provide values. And we have discussed a lot about the report, sustainability disclosures, S1, S2. But of course, that of course very important. But at the same time, that we also need to make sure that the professional accountants working in the companies, as a professional accountants in business or management accountants, they are also leading, these changes. So that's why, for information, IFAC has this working group, the professional accountants in business, PAIB. Yeah. And actually, Prof. Lindawati Gani is a member of this group, and they're producing a lot of studies, publications on how a professional accountants make change, lead the change in terms of how companies embed into sustainability matters in their business model and also this business process. So so I think this is also have the role of the PAOs, the expectation for the PAOs. We expect the PAOs, including like IAI and also probably IAI and also the other one, YAMI, also try to to encourage the professional accountants to lead the change in the business. So and this is also reflected in our focus areas. I mean, if you look at our strategic plan, we have 3 focus areas. The first one is regarding the improving the capability of PAOs, and the second focus area is in terms for how professional accountants make changes in the business. And one areas that we put a lot of emphasis is their role to encourage companies to change their business models, to integrate the sustainability matters in their decision making and day-to-day operation. So I think if we are able to do that, so I think the issue that we discussed earlier, the decline, so I think it will. I mean, if we can, if we are leading in this area, so I think that's what very important. And of course, the PAO also have to have a very close collaborations with the universities. Because we accountants, we are graduating from the universities, the undergraduate program in accounting, most of us. So I think the way that the programs in the undergraduate programs also have to change. I think, for example, I mean, in the first years of studies, usually accounting students learn about principles of accountings, the basic of accountings, and it's very. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it has changed, but I think in general this subject is still very technical. It's not really interesting. It's just putting a more focus on debit, credit, and so on and so on. I think it's very important starting in the first year. You should also introduce to the students all the wide areas of coverage of the task of accountants, not only in terms of financials and making recording debit credit, but also providing values to the business. So it has also to start from the universities. And that's why I think it's very important that PAO has a very close collaborations with the universities and persuade the universities to also to change the way they're teaching the students. I mean, I think if in the first 2 years of accounting educations, we're just not focusing on recording transactions and so on, but also the challenges, the opportunities of the accounting profession, including discussing cases, relating to sustainabilities, but also others. I think this will also make students more interested, to join the profession. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you.
Mr. Boko, you want to add anything?
No, just to say that if we are not in your country where your PAO is important and is adequate to the size of is in coherence with the size of your economy. In some other countries, the PAOs are very small. They are and they may lack enough resources, human resources. So the role of IFAC in all those PAOs is still more important because they need our assistance. They need our documents. I didn't mention that a lot is on the website, of course, of IFAC. And if you are interested and if you want to spend nights reading, you can spend a lot of nights reading. But now to be a bit more serious, PAO are really key in our organization in the way we can make sure that we do not leave on the side of the road some colleagues who are in countries where they don't have all the resources.
Yeah. Thank you. So just to follow up on Professor Tata's remark on university, is there anything from from university that you want to, okay. Tell us what you need, right? And how ready you are, for example.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm Desi Adharyani from Universitas Indonesia. Thank you, Pak Jumadi, and also Prof. Tata, Mr. Buko, and also Pak Adrian. I would like to view it holistically from the students as future accountants and also lecturers' perspective. First one is about the sustainability is not only about environment but also people, right? So I just want to take note on your statement that what is the use of doing business if we also hurt people? Okay, so maybe we also should strengthen this view to our students, and also because I'm also teaching sustainability in my campus in FEBUI. I also emphasize the people, not only the planet, not only the environment, and because of this people aspect, we also learn about work-life balance and then well-being that is strengthened from the first session, as already mentioned by Mr. Buko. Yeah, so that students also think about working in accounting profession that offer well-being to their life, work-life balance or something like that. Maybe the flexibility. I know that our students in some accounting firms also enjoy the flexibility in schedule, maybe because they already enjoy the online and offline schedule. So thank you very much for that. And then I also want to add what has been said by Prof. Tata. Actually, in my class, because I am teaching cost accounting. Cost accounting is in the third semester. So I try to take different path from other lecturers, because in our curriculum, the sustainability is only teach separately from accounting. So we only have one session for the sustainability, and it is completely distracted from the other parts. For example, when I'm explaining about direct materials, direct labor, I also related with the sustainability. For instance, do not only purchase direct materials which is low cost, which has low cost, but also please pay attention on the sustainability, whether it is sustainable material or not. And also direct labor, I also ask my students to think about is it really necessary to lay off the workers? Yeah, if you find the difficulties in the cost of the company, for example, in terms of the efficiency, for example, because we can still have another way to save our company, not only by laying off our workers. So that kind of teaching, I think, that kind of materials, I think really resonate with sustainability. So I agree with Prof. Tata. Maybe we should also start it from the first semester, not the third semester, because I teach cost accounting in the third semester. So we will try to find how to insert sustainability maybe from the first semester, and also strengthen the position of accounting for future for future accountants. I mean, for the students, right from the beginning of the semester. And then also, we've already have the digitalization and sustainability already in our curriculum, but I usually heard from our students, they said that what's the point of learning all of this, because at the entry level we are still have to do the technical aspect. So I don't know how to convince them. Maybe you also have the opinion on this, because they said that the strategic level will only be applied at the strategic level at the company. So maybe that's what we also want to emphasize to our students, that even though you are the first level accountant, you still have to have the sustainability and digitalization mindset. And for instance, in sustainability assurance or sustainability reporting, we will also be assisted by AI. I think, for example, how we can reduce the greenwashing by using AI. So AI is not to be used for the to create the sweet words in the sustainability reports, but try to help accountants to to create the genuine create the genuine sustainability report. And also I agree with the public sector sustainability reporting and sustainability accounting in public sector, because right now we have not had the materials for that type, Budwi, for the public sector sustainability. While I think that this is also important, not only for private sector. Once I went to the local government in Kalimantan, and they are completely blank with with SDGs. So you can imagine how can the local government themselves are not really aware of how they can report the SDGs, while it is their priority or their task, but they don't know how to report it efficiently. So that's the current condition maybe, and also the question from us in university. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibu. Okay, we are at the verge of finishing our discussion. I would like to give one last opportunity for anyone to raise anything in this session. Anyone's interested? Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Pak Jumadi. My name is Prabandari. I'm part of Indonesia Member Sustainability Standard Board. So maybe this is a very exciting discussion and very inspiring. So me as an accountant is also inspired basically. And because we are now talking about the future of finance and accounting, there are no other right time than this. So I think like Professor Darta mentioned that we can use the IFRS S1, S2 as a milestone to redefine the future of accountants, I think. One, I think this is something that also already shared by the audience here, that this is also about creating the sense of purpose. That this is not only about making a profitable company, but also a company that also create a story that support the sustainable development. So I think the way that we might want to rebrand the accounting professions might also use that kind of storyline, that we're not only good at crunching numbers, but also creating a story that more impactful. I think that kind of statement or storyline, something that hopefully can motivate people to at least start, okay, I want to study accounting, that first. And then maybe at the public sector or private sector, like Pak Kevin maybe, so they can be more inspired that we're not only providing data that is very credible in terms of make sure that this is accurate, reliable, but what does that mean? So I think maybe in a context of private sectors or company, the role of the finance or accounting departments can also take this moment to be part of the strategic business partner, not only seen like a scorekeeper that always works with a number, but also people that can also advise, hey, as a business, this is what the performance in terms of financial is all about. So more strategic level in that kind of sense, maybe that kind of storytelling that we can bring as accounting as a profession. So I think hearing from all the sharing session today, I think we are all in that journey. And as the Standard Board already issued the roadmap, we're not only about to publish the standard, but also already published a roadmap that basically this is a strategic document that says that to implement, in particular, the IFRS S1, S2 is about creating the ecosystem from the university, from the corporates, from the government, from the regulator, all needs to play all together to embrace this. But again, something that Prof. Siddhartha, I think, also reminded us all that this is not all about disclosure only, but this is about also changing the business model. The business model that maybe that we are all know presented as a financial performance, but now that financial performance needs to be complemented and supplemented with that sustainability related information. I think that's the effect, the point of this standard that would like to emphasize about creating the connectivity. And I think because we are all accountants, that I think we should be leverage our advantage to ensure that the information is credible, accurate, and also like Bu Ningsih mentioned that we as a accounting profession also embracing to update the ethical code. Now we're seeing about the how the accountants needs to be also be aware of the risk of the technology, but also embracing, but maybe beyond that. So I personally like the taglines to see beyond the numbers. So I think that maybe all of us, each of us needs also to bring that kind of story as accountant and be proud of it. Maybe that's from me.
Thank you so much, Bu Prabandari. And actually, you have helped me to summarize everything. So it has eased my job, so I don't have to do that. So, so any closing remark from Mr. Buko? Would you like to?
Well, it's difficult to have better closing remarks than what you expressed now. And thank you very, very much. I would just say that my role as president of the IFAC is we call it to do outreach, so to go and explain what we do, but it's more, and this is a clear demonstration in this session. It's more also to hear, not only listen, but to hear. And thank you very much for having organized this session. And thank you very much for the passion which you all have. I have the passion, but I'm very pleased to see so much passion in this room. So thank you very much.
So with that, I will return it back to Monica. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Please give big round of applause for our panelists, Mr. John, Professor Siddhartha, and also to Bapak Jumadi. And that concludes our IAI and IFAC focus group discussion. On behalf of IAI and IFAC, I would like to thank our distinguished guests and all of our panelists and also moderator. Also, appreciation to you, all of the participants, for your attendance and active participation. My name is Monica Nabilia. It's been a pleasure hosting this discussion. Thank you, and we look forward welcoming you at our future event. And ladies and gentlemen, visiting Graha Akuntan is never complete without a group picture at our legendary stair. So I would like to invite you to join us for a group picture that will be at our legendary stair. The team from IAI will lead you, so please join us.
Thank you very much, Dan. It was very good to be with you. Yes, no, it's a pleasure.
Silakan Bapak dan Ibu, kami mengundang Bapak dan Ibu untuk dapat bergabung berfoto bersama di tangga IAI. Teman-teman dari manajemen eksekutif IAI akan membantu dan mengarahkan Bapak dan Ibu. Terima kasih.
Thank you. Thank you.